Hello, everybody. Hello, all my MGTOW followers. I know I look a little rough. I just woke up. It's like 8:30 in the morning, but I don't care. So I just want to make a quick video talking about some things that were on my mind this morning when I woke up. Stuff that I just can't stop thinking about it until I make a video. I do landscaping for a living. Just to give you some background information. Uh, I've been mowing grass ever since like the sixth grade, and I'm 49 years old now. And ever since 2000, I became a professional landscaper. And I've had at least 4 or 5 different jobs with professional landscapers. And they've taught me everything I need to know to be a professional. So, knowing all that, there's just been so many times where every time that I've ever had to deal with a housewife, and it had something to do with the yard work and new ideas for the yard or installing grass or installing bushes or flowers, there was always a problem. I'll give you an example. This one lady, she's a consultant. A consultant is somebody who is a know-it-all, and they get paid for being a know-it-all because they know so much, like financial consultants and stuff like that. They advise businesses on how to fix their problems. So this lady, she also lives in a city where everybody's stuck up and everybody has money and everybody acts like they're better than you. So she's got all this going against her. She's a female, she lives in a stuck up rich city, and she's a feminist. She's married and has a couple kids. One of her kids is like an 8-year-old little girl. I'm out there looking at the flowers, and I noticed there was a yellow jacket nest under one of the rocks right where I needed to put in some flowers. And I told the little girl, I said, watch out for those yellow jackets, they'll sting you. And the little girl goes, oh, it won't sting me. Yellow jackets aren't bees. Like, she said all snotty like that, like she was an adult talking to a little kid. Like I was the little kid and she was the adult and she was correcting me. I don't take well to that. That's not respecting your elders. These women, they're not teaching their children to respect older people. That's one thing I wanted to point out. That's not being taught anymore. So then like a minute later, like 60 seconds later, she comes out. She's like in her late 30s. She's always flustered. Always like, what I gotta do next? Oh, what's going on? Now I gotta do this. Now I gotta do that, and that's how she is all the time. Just like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Oh, so, and if you saw her kitchen, there's like food stuck to the floor, food all over the countertops, dirty dishes on the kitchen table, pots of food still sitting on the stove. It looks like a bunch of little 2-year-olds came through the kitchen and made a mess. There's food on the floor. So this lady is a wreck. And then she comes out 60 seconds later after the daughter corrected me. And I told her, I said, oh, your daughter tried to tell me that yellow jackets weren't bees. And she goes, oh yeah, they're not bees. And I'm like, no wonder, that's where she got it from. That's where you learned your ignorance from. So I corrected both of them because that's what I do. And then just a couple days ago, a second example. I installed some sod in my neighbor's yard because I wanted to be nice. I didn't have to do it. She had literally nothing but clay in her front yard. Now her front yard is the size of 3 parking spaces. So that's useful information to know for this story. We live in condominiums, so we have little tiny front yards. So that's why I agreed to do it. It's not a whole lot of work. I could probably knock it out in 30 minutes. And so she's like, ooh, you could make my yard look like yours because I have beautiful zoysia in my front yard. Looks like the little green toothpicks, and it's really thick and really green. And it feels really good when you walk on it. My dog, every time he goes outside, he has to slide on his belly and crawl on it because he loves it so much. So my neighbor, this lady, she's in her late 60s and has a handicap with her back, so she can't do any of the work. Uh, she's like, "Oh, really? You can help me with my grass?" I was like, "Sure, I'll help you out of the kindness of my heart, and just to show you that I'm a good neighbor, I'll install some grass for you. I'll even use my professional knowledge of fertilizers and beneficial bacteria to make it even better than what the professionals at Home Depot would have done if you would have hired a normal professional contractor. I can do it even better than them. That's why my grass looks so good. That's why my dog loves my grass so much." So I'm an expert at installing and growing and making healthy green grass. This lady doesn't know anything about landscaping. Nothing. All she has is her feelings. So I install the grass, and of course, every time you install sod, there's like gaps between the pieces, like little half-inch gaps. So I told her that I would fill in these gaps with some sand, and she's like, "No, let's try putting in pieces of grass." And I told her, because I have knowledge and experience to back all this up, if you put little thin pieces of grass on your yard, and it's like 90 degrees, blistering hot sun beating down on it all day long, and it hasn't rained in days, and it's not going to rain for at least 3 or 4 more days, and you put down little thin 1.5-inch wide, pieces of grass that are this wide, it's going to burn up, turn brown, and it's going to die. And of course, that's what happened. A few days later, it was all brown, it burned up and died, just like I told her. But did she trust me and believe me? No. "Don't trust the man. He's a man. He doesn't know what he's talking about." So, of course, I was right, and I told her the next following days, I said, "Hey, let me fix those gaps. I'm going to go buy some sand, and I'm just going to fill in, just the cracks." And she said, "Okay." So then a couple days later, no, more like 5 days later, she took a while to go get the sand because she's old and she's handicapped and she has to go make doctor's visits all the time because of her back. So she's busy with hospital and doctor visits, and so she finally went and got the sand, and she told me she got it, and I came over and I started installing the sand in all the cracks. Well, she was gone while I was doing it, and it took me like 30 minutes to knock it out. And she came back, and now all of a sudden she's all unhappy and whining and crying like a little 2-year-old. "What's all these white lines in my yard? I don't like this. Sure, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask you to do that." And I'm thinking, what? You didn't ask me to do that? You don't remember the conversation we just had like 4 or 5 days ago where I explained to you in detail what I was going to do, and you said okay? Because I don't do anything to someone's yard until the person says okay. If I'm going to charge you for it, I will not do it until you say okay. That is my normal method of operation. So I gave her some free stuff, some free fertilizer and some free beneficial bacteria, stuff that you can't find at Home Depot because it's so awesome and so exclusive that only a handful of people even know about this stuff. So I was kind enough to mix up 4 gallons of this water with this special fertilizer and special beneficial bacteria in it that's expensive. And I poured it on her grass, and then I went and got some Scott's Weed and Feed and sprinkled that all over her yard a few days later, and now she's got thick, lush green grass popping up. It's growing. And people are walking by and waving, going, "Hey, I love your yard. It's so beautiful." So, excuse me. So she's getting a pat on the back, and she's getting all this validation, and she's just eating it up. "Oh, I'm eating it up. I'm getting all this validation. Everyone's jealous of my yard. Oh." So she's getting the vapors because she's getting so much validation. And then I put the sand on there, and now there's white lines, and she's probably not getting validation anymore. And that's why she's upset. And I told her 3 times in 3 different text messages, the lines will go away. This is part of the process. But Sean, I didn't ask you to do that. And I didn't know you were going to nickel and dime me to death. If I'm giving you the fertilizer for free and the bacteria for free, how am I nickel and diming you to death? So she's twisting everything around that I'm saying, putting words in my mouth, and just telling flat out lies. Because she is a little 2-year-old on the inside and has no patience, and she wants instant gratification. She doesn't understand the concept of delayed gratification. Does not understand the concept. Hold on. Sorry, I had something there. So I just wanted to point out in this video, because no one else is talking about this, so I figured I'm going to talk about it. It's these women, once they get into a house, they instantly turn into a know-it-all. Like they just know everything. I'm sick and tired of women specifically, because I don't ever have this problem with the husbands. Never. Not once has a husband or a boyfriend ever done this to me. It's always the women. I'm sick and tired of them trying to sum up my job and then somehow act like they're my boss and they know more about how to do my job than I do. That's pretty much the summary of this whole video. I don't like it when people who are not qualified try to tell me how to do my job. I told my other neighbor, I said, she's got a cast on her ankle from where she twisted her ankle so bad that she broke it when she was walking past my backyard, tripped over some tree roots. She was drinking. That's why she fell. She was a little drunk, and she tripped over a tree root and broke her ankle. And I said to her, that's like you saying to the doctor, hey, this cast is still on my ankle. I didn't ask for this cast. You don't know how to do your job. Because this cast is ugly. I don't like this cast on my ankle. You're not doing your job right. So that's basically the equivalent of what this lady's doing to me. She's saying that I'm not doing my job right, in so many words, I'm paraphrasing, because the lines of sand are visible and it's taking too long for the grass to grow over it. Because eventually the grass is just going to grow over it and you won't see any of that white sand anymore. But she has zero patience, can't wait, and I just wanted to bitch about that for a minute. So there's my video. Thanks for watching. Remember, marriage is a scam. MGTOW equals happiness. Have a great day. Peace out.